So, and here we go again. A very warm welcome, guys, to my next LinkedIn Live. I'm really happy that I can present you the next interesting guest, and this is Elena Jäger. Nice to see you. You need to unmute yourself, Elena.
Hey, hi everyone. Hi.
Good to see
Beginner's
you.
mistake.
Yeah, and I think this is probably my 30th LinkedIn Live. And as I told you already, I never know what I'm going to talk about. So I give you the first word, and could you please introduce yourself and tell the guys who you are and what you do?
Thank you so much. And hi everyone. My name is Elena. I'm based in beautiful Zurich. And the topic is AI today. So I currently focus on AI capability development, mostly for entrepreneur consultants, coaches, trainers. So, but people like Václav and me. But I also work with smaller enterprises as well on developing AI core capabilities, identifying the first use cases, and prototyping them. But my background is from a Big Four. So I was in Deloitte for 13 years, and I worked in global transformation, in learning and development, in change management kind of roles. So I do have that background, and I now apply it to AI.
And for those who don't know me, I'm a career consultant and honorary consul of Czechia here in Basel. So we have a typical nice Basel Zurich connection. How did you come to this? Because I know you through Hannes Schwede, who
Mhm.
introduced me to you, and this is probably, I don't know, 5 or 9 months ago. And since the moment you are my favorite resource to go about practical tools with AI and like a person where I get a lot of information and inspiration from. And just to be clear, we are not each other clients. That's the situation. I simply find that what you do highly interesting, and that's why I am very happy that you are here. What was the initial idea AI and teaching people AI? Why? How do you come to this?
Okay, so that's a bit of a longer story, but so I've been running my own business since 2019, and originally I did same but different, just for myself. And when OpenAI first launched ChatGPT, obviously I do love everything new, so I was like, okay, let's explore this, let's see how this works. And I was like, my work is so human centric. This isn't really good. And I felt like I couldn't trust it. And I was just like, yeah, a couple of emails, maybe some text, but nothing more than that. That was my initial reaction. And then I did an AI certificate at MIT in 23, and this really gave me a different perspective on AI, on how AI could be used to enable business strategy. And I realized a couple of things. I realized, okay, this is a big thing. It's a bigger thing than I thought it was. And um, there's actually a gap because what I felt was missing was the human element.
Mhm.
So the how do we bring along the people? And you had to do like a little bit of a paper at the end, and I wrote that about like, so what is the impact on people? How do we develop the workforce? What is that evolution going to look like? And at the time, I was also thinking about what am I going to do with my business? So it was almost the things just coming together, and I was exploring with AI, and I realized, hey, if you use it in the right way, it is extremely powerful. And because I saw that gap in, how AI was taught, how it was talked about, I was like, why don't I just focus on that? And then
Mhm.
the target group, sort of the narrowing of my target group, that just happened over
Mhm.
time as I was thinking through what kind of programs am I offering? How am I going to make money with this? That just happened.
Mhm. I have from the beginning a highly positive bias towards ChatGPT, and I tell you a very crazy story because the moment ChatGPT popped up and I used it like for the second time, I was a victim of a scam. This typical SMS scam. Oh,
Hmm.
dear mama, I forgot, I lost my phone. Could you continue? And WhatsApp, blah, blah, blah. And it was exactly the moment when my daughter needed money from me. It came
Hmm.
everything perfectly together. And I sent 6,500 Swiss francs there. Yeah. And then I said,
Oh,
at
wow.
night, I woke up, oh, this is for sure a scam. So I stand up and went to ChatGPT describing the situation. And ChatGPT told me, you know what, you need to inform the Swiss cybersecurity and
Mhm.
the Lithuanian cybersecurity, because it was through Revolut Bank.
Mhm.
And Revolut has a main office in Lithuania.
Yeah.
I did it and I got the money back.
Mhm.
Like everybody tell me
Yeah.
this is gone, forget it. Da, da, da. So since the moment I have a very, very positive, but lot of people which I work daily don't. And we hear the classical catastrophic scenarios, AI is going to killing a job and so on. So if you look at it from your perspective, is it really happening, or is it just a weird hype and it's not reality? So will AI kill all the jobs?
Will it kill all jobs? I think the simple and straightforward answer is no. Will it kill some jobs? Yes. For the majority of jobs, though, what I think is happening and what we're seeing at the moment is that the jobs are changing. Some are changing a lot, some are changing a little, but there's almost no job that is not being touched by AI in one way or the other. But there's not that many jobs that are really disappearing. Yes, there are, the World Economic Forum publishes data on that every year on, new jobs created, jobs evolving, and jobs displaced. There is, I don't know what the number is, but I think it's like 11% displaced or something like that. Still a significant number, but it's nowhere near that, figure of all jobs are being displaced, everybody's going to be unemployed. I'm not seeing that. And to be honest, what I'm seeing when I look at the clients I'm working with, when I talk to the people that I know, friends in big corporates, I mean, if you look at how they go about the AI implementations, where they are right now, way to go. There's a lot of opportunity, but it's also going to take a lot of work to get there. Because if you look at, for example, if you look at data, right? Every AI project is in essence also a data project, because if you don't have clean data, well-structured data, the AI will not be able to give you any value. And that's not even, and even if you have your AI strategy and you know what business problems you're trying to solve, and by the way, I'm not seeing that happening either, but even if you know that and you don't have the data in order, you know what's happening? You're not going to get the value. So I think there's so much still to be done before we're seeing those massive shifts happening. Yes, we're seeing shifts, but they're nowhere near as far as the media suggests.
So no on doomsday scenarios like in 2030 jobs will be gone. No.
So I don't know. I mean, nobody knows for sure. I don't have a crystal ball, but I just don't think that's feasible.
For guys, thank you for your comments, which are now coming in, mostly very, very generic. So nice having you all here. We have great voices from Switzerland, from Poland, from France, from Ireland. And my dear brother Matthew Kilkenny is here. I'm very happy that he made it, because he's one of the strong voices for ethical AI. And we cooperate on this closely together, because some of the developments are really crazy, unethical things. But this is not a specifically topic of today. We are tackling the topic fears and how to take the fears away from the people. And so if this hype for this job losses doesn't match reality, then what does? What are we actually seeing right now in the workplace?
I mean, we're seeing a bunch of different things, I think. We are seeing companies that are really going, you know, into AI. They're really trying to put in place a lot of use cases. Some of them are attributing job losses to AI. Whether or not that's the case, I think a lot of it actually at the moment is more economic shifts,
Absolutely.
uncertainty globally. So for me, AI is it's almost like a lazy excuse. So we're seeing companies that are going down the AI pathway. They're upskilling people. They're trying to see what use cases can we put in place, and all of that. But we're seeing I'm still seeing a lot of companies who don't really know what to do with AI. They don't really have a plan yet. Everybody says we have to do AI. And I hear this also. I mean, there's, from speaking to people in Basel, in some of the life sciences businesses there, AI is everywhere. But when you ask about, so what problems are you trying to solve? And does it really, are those really AI problems? Are they solvable by AI? Often either I see businesses not really having defined the problems or doing AI for the sake of AI. And I've just had an example last week from somebody telling me they were doing something in drug safety with AI, and they found, the people who were supposed to implement it found that actually, it's a coding thing. It's not an AI topic. Yes, AI can help them with coding the new solutions, but the actual solution isn't AI. So we're seeing quite a lot of that. So that sort of unclarity of what is AI and what problems can it really solve and add value. I'm seeing a lot of businesses struggling with that, but you have to do AI because you have to be there. And that's a bit, that's what I'm seeing for a lot of companies. And then you're seeing those that are not doing anything yet.
Yeah. I compare it. It's like many companies are sitting there like a rabbit in front of a snake and simply waiting, paralyzed. Somehow AI is going to, we will not hire people because AI will take over the job. And 1 year later, you are in the same situation right now. Yes, fully subscribe with a lot of it. It's excuses, and most of the job shifts are simply move stuff to low-cost countries. This is what I see having much bigger influence. So we have a question from Ina Olimskaya. Could you share from your perspective, what can we do today to work better with AI?
So actually, if you could look at my big screen that I'm looking at, I have a post-it on my big screen that says, "Have you asked AI?" So for me, for whatever I do, I first ask myself, is this something that AI could help me with? So have you asked AI doesn't mean I want to do everything with AI, because that would be a waste of my time. It's just a reminder that as I'm going through my daily work, have I looked into what AI can help me do better, do faster, just take some of the load off my plate so that I can focus on the things that I like. And in addition to that, what can you do to work better with AI? I always say start small. And if you're not doing, if you don't have a lot of AI experience, use it in your personal life. Use it. I mean, when I teach AI courses, we always have that example of family meal planning and how to use ChatGPT to plan the meals for the week. According to the family's preferences, dietary requirements, what you've got in your fridge, what's healthy, what's seasonal. So use something that's more a private use case. Get comfortable, see how the AI reacts, and go from there. So learning by doing is what I always tell people, and I think I'll leave it there for the moment.
No, I have just prepared a newsletter for the next week, which is exactly discussing this topic. What are really people actually doing with ChatGPT? And coding is like 4% of the whole traffic. And biggest part is exactly stuff which you described. Private stuff, planning travels, planning food, writing poems for grandmother for her birthday, whatever. So this is, so we use it much more in private realm than in the business, which is interesting. Somehow I cannot, some issues with the, now I could show it. It's a comment from Matthew Kilkenny. For now, MIT says very few are making return on investment on AI deployment, as it needs more human to clean up the mess created.
Yeah.
This is a good side remark. For me, when I use AI, I recently had 3 small legal cases for my friends, and people ask me, "Do you know a lawyer?" Like, say, why you need a lawyer? There was a discussion like, some of our parties in our house would like to grab more parking lots. Literally, the lady sent me pictures of the parking lots and sent me a scan of their how is it called in the building when you have the treaty, how people, do whatsoever with each other, solved in 10 seconds without a lawyer. So this would be probably the typical case for a junior lawyer. He will get it stable, he will handle it, he will charge you, I don't know, 215 an hour. So how are those junior entry-level roles now changing when AI tools take over, insurance broker, lawyer, whatever? So what is the influence there?
And I think from my perspective, it's the junior roles that will be affected the most. Because most of those junior roles, and not all of them, right? But most of them have a large portion of augmentable tasks. So if those tasks are being augmented by AI, and they're usually the first ones that are going to be augmented by AI, those junior roles, either some of them will disappear, and the junior roles will change a lot. So it's I was thinking through this actually as I was reading, smartening up a little bit in preparation for this session. And the bit that I am worried about is, well, if we don't hire juniors, where's the pipeline for the leaders of tomorrow? If we hire less juniors, well, but and they have to take on more leadership tasks faster because there's less of the entry-level type work where they learn, because that's how they learn, right? That's how they are groomed into the leaders of tomorrow. So how are we going to get graduates, entry-level employees to develop? How is that going to work? I think we have a massive pipeline problem there. And I'm not seeing that being addressed that much. So this is actually this is something that worries me. Not the disappearance of jobs as a whole, but what is being done to reshape those career paths? How do we generate entry-level jobs that are interesting and that will give young people the opportunity to learn, to do the on-the-job learning? I don't know.
Because if I recall my first days when I started in Switzerland, 1990, and I was absolutely overwhelmed with all those tasks. Today, I will be done in 4 hours.
Yeah.
The work. I would have everything. Oh, create me a sheet for IPC control for a tabletting machine and done. It's all done. It's so easy what you can do. So what are the main challenges now? Yeah.
Sorry for interrupting, but can I give you an example? So you prompted something that I haven't thought about. When I joined Deloitte in 2007, one of my first projects was a global HR transformation, and I mostly spent time sitting down with HR professionals in the different countries, figuring out their as-is processes, and then mapping those and putting them into requirements documents. I think we spent 9 months doing that for, I don't know how many countries globally, right? If I'm thinking about how would I do that with AI today, even if I sat down with the individuals, right? And I wouldn't even have to do that anymore today, but even if I sat down with them physically, I would record and transcribe, and I could automate the draft for the requirements document. So what would have taken me probably 2 weeks for a given country, I could now do in about a day. So sorry, I was just thinking about that.
No, but this is a great efficiency. At the end, you will be still there. You will be basically much more efficient. You will finish this process probably in 30% of the time and could be assigned to the next project.
Yeah. Yes. And the one thing that we tend to forget, the human brain can only do so much knowledge work.
Yes.
So just thinking, right? It's sometimes our brain needs those repetitive and mundane tasks to recover, to recharge. And I see this, because I have so many tasks are being augmented by AI right now or taken over by AI. I mean, I told you yesterday when we were chatting, I said, hey, sorry, my brain is dead. I've been doing too much knowledge work all day. I'm being useless right now. And that's another thing to consider for overall the structure, like how are jobs being shaped?
Yeah, when I started to talk with my digital marketing partner, Patrick Doja, like 3 years ago about, putting the right proposal for the clients. And we start to discuss AI as well. And he told me very wise sentence at the end, the last resort of us is ask the right question. So being able to pose the right question. So you need to spend a lot of brain power on formulation of the question. And it reminds me of my younger self. I was all the time jumping immediately into the solution mode instead of spending time. And I literally learned it before I jump on something. I asking myself questions, and this is much more helpful than jumping into the solution mode. This mostly doesn't lead to the best solution, because asking questions is very, very powerful. This is something what is left for us human beings. Yeah, Ina is commenting if junior's job will be replaced by AI. The question is, what can juniors do in order to build skills and be pipeline of future leaders? Ina, you are reading my mind. So that was my next question. So here you go. Sorry, I forgot to put my telephone on do not disturb.
No, but that's exactly the question that I'm asking myself. What can companies be doing to still build that pipeline? And at the moment, I think there are still opportunities, because who is going to define when you've got the use case? Just imagine you've got your AI strategy, you've got your series of use cases you want to put in place. It's usually the more junior folks who are doing the tasks that will be augmented by AI. So at the moment, I think there is still roles for those people, because they're the ones who are going to be defining those workflows, training the AI, fine-tuning, adjusting. Where is that going to go in the future? And I think this needs to be more intentional. So I think companies have to be more intentional. And I mean, I don't know what, I don't think there is the solution, but I think there might be opportunities such as, certain companies have graduate programs where juniors rotate through different departments. They're learning the ropes of the business. I think you could have something similar, but with a focus on AI. So having the juniors join in different AI capacities, training the AI, improving the workflows, fine-tuning the model so that they learn by doing, and they have somebody more senior mentoring them on the side. I mean, we need to find one way or the other to do this, because if there's a need if the need decreases for junior level staff, I mean, we can't just leave them unemployed and then expect to have enough leaders in the pipeline.
Yeah.
So I think companies who are serious about AI and who want to use it to their advantage in their workforce planning, somehow they need to think about this. And I don't think it'll just happen. I think it needs to be intentional.
Yeah, it will be a process which will take us another few years, I'm sure. And they are dangers. They are on the other side, on the flip side, there are for sure as well some chances. So what chances do you see for junior roles here?
I mean, look, the juniors that are entering the job market now, they're all digital natives. So they already have an advantage over some of us. And, some of them are close to AI natives as well. So I think that in itself is probably an advantage, because they can be plugged into some of those roles a lot more easily. They can reverse mentor some of the more experienced workforce who might be struggling to figure out, how am I going to be working together with AI? So I think there's opportunities there. And I think there's also an opportunity for young people to move into more interesting roles more quickly. From less, away from admin into more interesting stuff more quickly. Just take somebody who's a coder, right? They can actually get way more exposure much more quickly with the help of AI. So, and they can also use AI as their learning tool. So I think they can get more insight more quickly if they work in an AI related role, work with AI, than before. Like, or if you have like a market research analyst, I mean, the amount of exposure they can get in a short period of time is so much bigger than before. So there are opportunities, but it might not be as obvious.
What kind of skills are already matter now with this landscape, which is massively changing with AI? So, what would you say are the most important skills people need to have?
So I think there is the digital savvy for sure. But for me, the skills that matter and that are always going to matter are the uniquely human skills.
Hmm.
The, you know, the empathy, the people skills, the interacting with others, and yes, the critical thinking and problem solving, because just because AI can help me with something doesn't mean it's actually right.
Hmm.
And the other human skill, or the a meta skill, if I may say so, is adaptability and lifelong learning.
Hmm.
And that one is even more crucial now than it's ever been. And then, of course, yes, the digital skills, the analytical skills, the data skills, the prompt engineering and stuff like that. Yeah.
Yeah, we have a great remark from Valerio Lipa.
Mm.
There's a general feeling that there will be a strong emphasis on developing soft skills, empathy, decision making, strategic
Yeah.
thinking, with less focus on traditional and procedural core skills.
Yeah.
Apart from AI literacy, very true. I'm reading it out because I know
Mm.
that some of my friends are doing sports and not watching and only listening. So that's I think.
Yeah.
Thank you, Valerio, and Mani. Best regards back to Madrid, my favorite city in Spain. So I hope you are enjoying the discussion. When I look at my own work, I used to spend hours every week for generating content for LinkedIn. Today,
Mhm.
I devote my time to work with people. So at the end, AI enables me spending time where people need me, because I can generate
Mhm.
endless classes, put everything in the video. People won't look at it. I know it. Most of the people need a human being which takes them by the hand. But instead of spending now an hour putting a nice about section of a person, I have a trained AI for this. I anonymize the CV of the person, send it up, 5 seconds about section, headline, everything is done, and fantastic new profile is polished and ready to be shown. So this is me. So for me, it's freeing up hours and hours a week. And from the moment onwards, I started to use trained AI for writing my post. And actually, it's trained with my own content. People tell me, Václav, we have such authentic content and it's written by AI. At the end, people don't care how you produce it. They care if the content is good or not. And that's it. Yeah. Very good. Very good. So we discuss now the skills, we discuss fears. Let's a little bit look a small advertisement for you, Elena. What are you doing? How do you exactly help clients like me or others? How does it look
Mhm.
like? So how does your day look like? What do you do?
What does my day look like? Probably like the day of most other entrepreneurs, I guess. Um, but I just want to build on what you had said around previously. You spend a lot of time on writing LinkedIn posts and this and that. I didn't even do that. I did no LinkedIn. I had no newsletter. I did no marketing because I prefer spending time with people.
Mhm.
And because of AI, I'm actually able to be on LinkedIn. I have a newsletter that goes out once a week. I have four fully functional marketing funnels that I could have never even set up without the help of AI, because I wouldn't have bothered, because there's other stuff that I prefer doing. So there's a ton of opportunity, not only to free up time, but also to allow you to do things that you know you should be doing, but you're not.
Mhm. Mhm.
How do I work with people? It depends a little bit. And I know this is a typical consulting answer, but I for my target group, that's the solopreneurs, entrepreneurs. I have a portfolio of products that starts with very foundational AI skills in group programs. So
Mhm.
foundational and sort of implementation group coaching for really identifying the processes that you want augmented by AI. We'll grab those, we'll work together, we'll make them happen for you.
Mhm.
I also have one-to-one formats, because there are people who just don't like the group format and they're happy to get one-to-one support. So I do that as well. I run an AI community. for coaches, consultants, and trainers. And then when it is corporate clients, it's a bit more, tailored. It's typically, though, still at the moment, there's a lot of AI capability building, and there's a lot of helping them identify initial use cases and putting them in place. That's the majority of the work at the moment. Yeah.
Thank you for sharing. And we discussed a few weeks ago when we've been pre-planning this LinkedIn Live that people are attacking you on LinkedIn, that you are part of a process which is destroying people's jobs. So can you explain the audience? I was shocked by that people try to forbid you your own opinion, which is like completely crazy. So what's happening there? And can you tell me, because the audience will for sure be interested in some like that.
It's not only happening on LinkedIn, it's also happening on my Instagram account as well. But LinkedIn is where it started. And I think it started, I once did a post on just wondering whether if in today's world, if you choose not to learn AI skills, do you have a future? Or is that going to kill your job? Because I strongly believe, AI isn't going to kill your job, but somebody with AI skills will take it eventually. So I had put out a post on LinkedIn just wondering about that. And the amount of hate I got was basically like, leave people alone. You can opt out of AI. You shouldn't be driving this evil transformation, blah, blah, blah. And I was just totally shocked by that. And what I did is I looked into the profiles of the people that were mostly leaving those kinds of comments. And it was people in jobs that are heavily affected. And probably people who have no support in adapting.
And this is fantastic. You lead me directly to the next question. So how do we cut through all this noise and of the hype and switching the mindset from the fear to the feeling, we could probably thrive with AI. AI will help us to be better people, as my Matthew Kilkenny wrote in his comment, leading into humanness in the AI will be gold. So how do we get through this? How can we do this mind shift?
So there's a couple of angles, I think, and no one angle is enough, right? I think one is educate yourself. Like, don't believe all the hype. There's sources that are credible and there's sources that are probably not as good. So I tend to rely on, the World Economic Forum reports, sort of industry white papers. I try to get a variety of updates just to see what are the different sources saying, what are they leaning towards. So I do a lot of reading, but I skim through stuff. And if anything that sounds too positive or too negative, I'll acknowledge that, but I usually discard that. So just keeping yourself educated will help you reduce the fear. And the other bit, right, is focus on opportunities. And we were talking about start using ChatGPT or whatever AI it is that you use in your private context. The more you learn about it, the less scared you will be, the more you will see where it can help you and what's just fluff and hype. So for me, it's like just use it hands-on, get your experience, because just understanding how it works and what it can do will sort of help you, manage that fear a bit. And don't, you don't have to be a pro from the beginning. It's always this, start small, because even today, right? Even if you're in a big corporate or whatever, if you start small, if you build those skills, you're probably ahead of everyone else already. So for me, it's always, I tend to prefer a can-do attitude to one that is driven by fear, because that's not going to help me.
Yeah, at the end, it's all saying we are very, very human mindset. It's all about the right mindset. If I stand up in the morning, say, "Oh, this is all very bad, and AI is going to steal my job," and bitching about the situation and doing nothing, that is probably going to happen. If I get up, grateful, I live in this modern world. We have electricity, everything runs. My computer guides me when I have to drive somewhere, and I find a way. Blah blah blah. Be grateful for that. Then, because what we are living now with all these dangers, it's a freaking miracle. And this is my mindset all the time. I'm so curious that there is something new. I jump on it. I simply try it out. I don't know how many AI tools are tried already. And at the end, I'm using basically 3 of them: Scribe, ChatGPT, Perplexity. Those are my favorites. And I tried a lot of others. Yes, Ideogram for picture generation from time to time, Gamma for presentation. But I'm 3 or 4, and then I'm good, and I'm done, and I'm perfectly set. I'm highly efficient, and the business runs like hell. So if I am someone who feels overwhelmed, so what's the simple starting point you will give me as advice just after the conversation? Where should I start? So how could I build a bigger confidence?
So I mean, I'm going to go back to the meal planning example, right? Go get onto ChatGPT, get a free account, and just try that meal planning. Just if you haven't explored, just do a bit of that. But then also, if you want to build confidence, right? There are a lot of free resources out there that are actually quite good. There's Coursera, there's LinkedIn Learning, there's Udemy. There's a lot of good stuff out there that can give you the basic foundational skills, can give you an insight, can spark your thinking, and can help you sort of just do away with that fear. I'd start with what's already out there. And for those of you working in corporates, most corporates these days offer AI trainings. Try to get a seat on that. Try to participate. Just try to learn, see what they say. Because there's so much out there that's actually free. So I would try to start with that self, I wouldn't wait until my employer tells me I have to take an AI class. I'd go find something, I'd go find a resource that helps me, and I'd start upskilling myself.
I met on the meeting of Czech and Slovak expats on University of Zurich a week ago, a Czech ice hockey player, legend from HC Davos, Josef Marcha. And he's like 5-time Swiss championship winner, a cult in Davos, and he retired from hockey like with 38, basically zero education. And I asked him, "What are you doing, Josef?" I say, "I'm doing marketing." I say, "Did you study marketing?" I say, "No, I learned everything on YouTube." Learned everything on YouTube. He's highly successful in doing marketing.
AI as a Google alternative.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's just ChatGPT is not a search engine. Let's face it, even if it can access the internet. But apart from that, I would keep with what I've said, and that's the mindset of, have you asked AI? And maybe in one thing you can try, right? And that goes back to Václav's commentary on, you have to ask the right questions. Instead of telling AI, "Hey AI, help me do XYZ," ask the AI, say, "Hey, my name is so and so. I do X, Y, and Z. I want to write a series of LinkedIn posts with that purpose. How can you help me?" So instead of telling AI what you want it to do, you can say, "This is what I want to do. How can you help me?" This is a really a nice way of exploring where AI can help and getting comfortable interacting with it. Or you can tell it to ask you any questions it has, so it gets the context to help you.
What I love to do is asking AI, "Who am I?" based on our previous conversation. That's my favorite one. This is so funny.
See, I turn off the memory function. So
you
mine would say, "I don't know." Yeah.
Would you recommend doing this?
So I have a very strong personal opinion on that. Professionally, I have to say whatever works for you in your business. My personal opinion is very strong, and that's turn it off. The big generative AIs, be that OpenAI or Anthropic or Google, they already collect so much data about you. Do you want it to collect and store even more data? That's one thing. The other bit for me is, because I work with so many different clients, my context changes all the time. So I need to be able to control what the AI remembers. And if I keep the memory function on, it is really, really hard for me to control that. So I keep it off. But what I do is I use, it's called custom GPTs in OpenAI. It's called assistants in other generative AIs. I work with those, and those tend to be trained on a specific context. They tend to have knowledge preloaded that I need. So that's the way I work, but that's based on my business needs. So if it works for you with the memory on, then I think there's nothing wrong with that.
I need to think about it because I trained, I have something customized as well. So I've trained specifically something for the LinkedIn profiles, but probably you are right. And I'm sometimes a little bit naive when it comes about. We have a nice comment of Stefano Roserba. The potential of AI is immense, and the fact that the immediate focus is on how many jobs will be cut instead of how much potential can drive example of how people might not ready for it. Do you believe that our leaders are able to interpret AI as amplified intelligence, supporting and augmenting human potential, rather than just artificial, which automatically brings the fear of being replaced by a machine? Are you reading my script, Stefano?
He's probably hacked into your computer.
Could be.
Yeah, I think Stefano has a point there. And it's funny enough, I had one of my community sessions over lunch today, and we were talking about the need for us as a group to be focusing on exactly that, and doing some brainstorming around, well, if they're not ready, how can we get those leaders ready for that? So Stefano, you're more than invited to join us for some of these if you want.
And Stefano for sure will, because he's a highly curious person.
Yeah, we know each other.
Yeah, I know. I think I introduced you.
You did.
That's the typical human quality of Václav, being the human interface. I all the time tell people, if I would get like some royalties of people doing business with each other, which I connected, I could withdraw myself from the from the workplace already. Very good. I have one closing question, because I have a sharp stop at 4:00. So if you have to give one piece of advice to leaders about adopting AI without fueling fear, what would it be?
Make it a human-centric approach. So build it around the problem, but also build it around the people that are involved. No more than that, literally. Business problem and walk the talk.
Exactly. That's we have now some connection issues, but this was a great closing statement. And I look back in my own career, I try to do exactly that. Was this a change in the pharmaceutical department? I try to all the time inform people, talk about their fears and so on. No, this change is not going to make your job redundant. It just should help us to make our job better, more efficient. And then this is it. And this human-centric approach, I think if we do it around those lines, and I will highly recommend people to connect with Matthew Kilkenny, who is a big supporter and the founder of Ethical AI Now. And we discuss a lot of this stuff together. So please do so. I think time is over. It was a great and very productive discussion. Elena, thank you very much for being my guest. If you guys
Thank you so much for having me.
If you guys have any question to Elena, connect with her on LinkedIn, and this session is recorded, so those who came late can rewatch it later, and I will then post it later to my YouTube channel as well. Thank you so much, Elena. Thank you for keeping informing us. I'm a great fan of your LinkedIn profile, so I will return and read your newsletter and your post, and wish you a lot of success. And for sure, we didn't see each for the last time. Thank you for being with us.
Likewise.
And I'm going to close the stream if you can stay for a moment in the studio. Goodbye, guys. Bye-bye.
Bye.